Marine, a soldier. And he said, ma'am, I'm not a soldier. I'm a Marine. And I was like, okay, I won't let that happen again. So
No.
That's why they're funny like that. They really are. And my personal soldiers are all Army. So, I say soldier all the time, but we do refer to all branches as troops. So that way there's no offending anybody. We got them covered with that.
Gotcha. So yeah, that makes sense because, my dad served in the 82nd Airborne, and you watch like even the old movies and you say the wrong thing to the wrong person, they get totally offended, which I understand.
Well,
I understand.
They have rivalries.
They do.
Rivalries. They do. They really do. And it breaks up the seriousness of what they do. And, they do it in good jest. Some of them may be serious about it, but like I said, I made the mistake of calling a Marine a soldier, and I won't do that again. So, coming up with the term troop, we cover all branches because we don't always know by the address that they send to us what branch of service that they're in. Sometimes I can tell because I've been doing it for so long, you get used to knowing how they identify their units, but sometimes we don't really know. So you don't know if you're, where you're sending that care package to. So troop covers, pretty much everybody. It does.
Yeah, and that was one of my questions, but you kind of answered it. But you service all the branches, so it doesn't matter if it's Air Force, Navy, Marines, Army, you service them all.
We serve them all in the Navy, and actually we have, the Coast Guard has actually been deployed overseas as well, and a lot of people don't realize that the Coast Guard is a military branch. It is one of the military branches, and they have been serving in these troubled times and these wars that we've had overseas. They've been there. Some of them have been on the ground, some of them are out in the ocean patrolling, but we have a lot of crossover where we have Navy that's on the ground with the soldiers. And a lot of people think traditionally that the Marines and the Army are on the ground, and the Navy and Air Force is in the air, the Navy's in the ocean, the Coast Guard's in the ocean. But there's a lot of different MOSs, which is their job description, that they have to be on the ground. So they come on. They're not necessarily on a ship if they're in the Navy. And they're not actually on a ship if they're in the Coast Guard. So they could be, on foot patrol with the Army somewhere. You just never know.
Yeah, you never know. We all have to wear multiple hats where you got to go.
Yes. Yes. Very true.
Here's one of the big questions I have, because you mentioned the items that you send and all this other stuff. But what can you ship and what can't you ship to troops? Because that's got to be a big thing that people are like, well, I can send this, and then no.
Well, the items that the government has actually said that you cannot ship over there are flammable materials, any kind of alcohol. For a while there, you weren't allowed to send any cigarettes or anything like that. I have heard that they are allowed to have cigarettes shipped to them now. But the biggest part of it is no pornography, no flammable materials, and it's really, not good to send too many liquid items. Like some people will box up soda or something like that, and the way they throw the boxes around, it's they may not get it if you're sending a 12-pack of soda over to them. So, just items like that are not allowed.
Well, I was good. I'm not a smoker, but the thing is, it's interesting that they ban cigarettes, and now they're probably going to allow them to go back over. Either way, it's flammable.
Yeah. True. But some people will try to ship cigarette lighters and stuff like that. Some people have, taken different containers and put alcohol beverages in there and shipped it over, and it's really not a good idea to do that.
So if someone let's just say I were to send something to you to ship to the troops, do you or someone at that office go through and say yes, no, maybe so, and then they just put what they have to do?
We do look at what comes in. If we can leave the package intact, we do, because it's a lot easier for us not to have to sort stuff out or, try to repackage it. So, we do look to leave the packages the way they come into us, but we do have to look at it because, unfortunately, we have gotten some strange things through the mail that, could pose a threat to our soldiers that we've had to, get rid of. So, we do check the stuff that comes into us. Yes, we do.
Nice. So I know you mentioned upfront cost and a lot of your budget goes to shipping, but do you get any kind of support from the government to ship these packages?
We get no support from the government. We are totally self-sufficient. We do not, they don't have any programs for us. We have tried to get our care packages on military flights going over there, but we were told that it's considered civilian mail and they won't put it on a military flight, which is kind of, ironic because we pay to get our packages to the APO or the FPO here in the United States. So from my understanding, the APO is in Pennsylvania. So we're actually only paying the postage to get our care packages from here to the APO in Pennsylvania. And then from there, it goes on a military flight over there or a contracted flight by the post office. So it's kind of ironic that they say we can't put your mail on a flight because it's civilian mail when it ends up on a military flight anyway. So that's kind of perplexing, but
yeah, that sounds so crazy in so many ways.
It does, doesn't it? It's like,
yeah,
okay.
I would have thought you put it on a military plane as long as it's not going into battle. It can go there, it can be offloaded, and it's much more secure than going through like any, postage thing where it could be apprehended and tampered with. But that's besides me.
Yeah, it goes through the post office. Like we ship through the United States Post Office because you can't, I know that FedEx and UPS and those entities do ship over there, but you have to have a physical address for them to deliver. And we don't get physical addresses from our soldiers. We get APOs and FPOs. So those are the military addresses, and that's all they get. So we can't, it would be nice because it would be a little competitive, and we might be able to get better rates if we were able to use another carrier. But the United States Post Office has it pretty much slowed up.
I'm just putting that out to my listeners. If you know anyone, contact Mary. Yeah. So, final question, how much does it cost to ship to the troops? Because I know that you said that's a huge expense.
It is a huge expense. And, we ship according to our budget. So that means that whatever we raise in a year as far as money goes is what we can ship. So our budget fluctuates anywhere between $140,000 to over $200,000, depending on how much money we raise through the year. So it's, pretty much dependent on our fundraising and how much money we can get in as to what we actually ship. So we've been very blessed that we pretty much were able to stick to between 400 and 600 care packages a week. COVID really put a hurting to us like everybody else. Everybody has suffered from this virus, and we have had to come up with some creative ways to lessen our shipping costs because, of course, we lost a lot of donations when people lost their jobs. I mean, they just don't have the money to give, which is so understandable because we were in the same position. So, we're thankful for what we do have, and we've come up with ways to make our care packages just a little bit smaller than what they were before, so we're able to ship more out for a lesser cost. So, we're always trying to come up with creative ways to be able to send the care packages over there and keep the support going to our troops because it's so important.
Nice. So I ask one last question to my people that I have on here, but it's actually a card that I got from my interview deck from Poddex at poddex.com. So what is your most treasured possession?
What is my most treasured possession? My health.
There
what
you
is
go.
The organization's most treasured possession is our volunteers.
That's awesome. I love that answer. So we're at a little less than 2 minutes, and this is where I like to give my guests the opportunity to give out their contact information to our listeners. So how can they get a hold of you or find out how they can help volunteer?
Okay, they can go to our website at www.operationshoebox.com, or they can find us on Facebook as operationshoebox.com, or they can call us at 352-307-6723.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Mary, for being a guest on Socially Joe. I'm grateful that Lisa Frick contacted me and connected me to you because I'm going to help you the best I can, and I hope our listeners can as well.
Well, I really, truly appreciate the opportunity that you gave to us, and also a very big thank you to Lisa. She has been working so hard to help get the support over to the troops as well, and her organization, and I just appreciate you all so much. Thank you.
Not a problem. Well, hopefully I'll have you next time on my show, and we'll talk and find out maybe 2021 was a better year.
I hope so. Thank you so much.
Not a problem. Well, you have a great day and take care.
You too. Thank you so much.